We are here today with Honda's brand new NT1100, new Tourer 1100. Now, I've been riding the NT around for about a week before actually shooting this, so just to get to know everything, all of its ins and outs. Is it comfortable for long journeys? How is the wind protection? Is it just a smaller Africa twin? If you're interested in the NT, we've got all of the answers to that. All right, first of all, let's start with the similarities between the NT and the Africa twin, because at the end of the day, it is highly built on the Africa Twin platform. Engine is 99% identical to the one in the Africa Twin. Now, I fell in love with that engine when I tested the Africa Twin last year. It is a very civilized engine. It is a very refined engine, and for the 102 horsepower that it says it has, I think the Japanese did some sort of mystical magic over there, because it feels like it's a lot more powerful than that. So the engine itself is pretty much the same as the one on the Africa Twin. The air intakes have been changed a little bit, the exhaust as well. I love the note on the Africa Twin. I love what comes out of that exhaust. I love even more what comes out of the NT's exhaust. It's exhilarating, it's fun, and it's always a blast to hear it. This model that I've got comes with the DCT gearbox, not the manual one. Honda's pushing DCT quite a lot, and it seems that it's working, because about 40% of all the models sold that come with an option of the DCT actually get sold with the DCT gearbox. It's a little finicky at first, you have to get used to it. It's got 4 different modes: Drive, Sport 1, Sport 2 and Sports 3. On Drive, I find that it changes gears way too fast, so I'm doing 50, 60 k's an hour, I'm already in 6th. Everything's vibrating, nothing's going on like it should. So Sport 2 was my go-to setting, and I was very happy with it there. You get used to it. Yeah, it's weird not having a clutch, but at the same time, a lot of people do prefer that. They prefer the bike to change automatically. Honda's been working on this technology for many decades. They've pretty much got it nailed down, and I have no complaints with the DCT whatsoever. I think it's great. I wouldn't buy one. I would go for the manual one with the quick shifter, but maybe in my later years I'll probably think a DCT over again, yeah? The front of the bike, in my opinion, has been beautifully designed. I love the way the headlights integrate into all of these straight lines. But if you sit on top of it, from that position, it looks identical to the Africa Twin. It's pretty much the same bike on there, apart from the windshield. Wind protection, Honda also did a great job on that. This thing really does its job. I tested it on the highway, obviously in the city and other back roads as well. But at its highest position on the highway, no problem whatsoever with buffeting, with wind in general. These little winglets, they do their job great as well. The only wind I actually felt was pretty much on my shoulders and my lower feet. Yeah, so I am feeling a little bit of wind on my shoulders and a little bit on my, I would say, upper lower legs. So those little winglets there, their wind deflectors, are definitely doing a great job. The windshield as well. The torque that this engine puts out, I think, again, 102 Newton meters is great. You've got lots of torque low down, you've got lots of torque at mid-range, not a lot at the high range, but I don't think you're going to be spending most of your time there. But from pulling off from traffic lights, riding in the city, riding on back roads, it's a fun engine. I wouldn't consider it a sporty engine. I'm not going to say this is a sports tourer, because in my mind, that is reserved for any bike that has 4 cylinders or maybe 3, but not for a 2-cylinder. Riding position, very important. Come on, come on, come on. I'm 1.8 meters, 5'11", about 100-ish kilograms. The moment I got on it, I felt home, yeah? The riding position, I didn't have to change anything on here. The riding position is very natural, and I think the longest stretch I did on it without getting off was about 4 hours, and in those 4 hours it was just pure joy. No complaints whatsoever about the riding position. My arms are relaxed, my back is almost straight. It's designed to be a bike that is not going to beat you if you ride it for prolonged periods of time. The NT comes as standard with a lot of kit on it. The price in our market is about 14,500 euros. Hello, watermelon. What are you doing here? Yes, it's black, just like you. What are you doing here? The laziest cat I've ever seen. And for 14,500 with all of the taxes included, it might differ from country to country. You get the following: 6.5-inch TFT with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Unfortunately, it is not the wireless version, it is the wired version, so you have to keep your phone plugged into the USB port. You get a 12-volt socket, you get a USB port, cruise control, standard, center stand. That is very important. How are you going to clean your chain if you don't have a center stand? How are you going to actually do some work on the bike without a center stand? A lot of companies do not include this as standard. They will charge you some extra money for that. Panniers as well come as standard. Not the top case, that is an optional extra, but panniers for riding in the city is absolutely wonderful. You're really going to be needing something to, you know, put your groceries in, or if you commute to work on it, keep your stuff in there. So you're going to buy them anyway, and carrying a backpack is not really always an option. So I'm glad to see panniers. I would have loved them to be a little bit more high quality. They're a bit finicky to open. They do come with inner liners as well, little bags, and that's always a great addition for base price spec. ABS, Honda's traction control, 5 different riding modes, 3 of them are preset, 2 of them you can play to your heart's content, and heated grips. So a lot of kit for the base price. No. What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't climb on the bike. You don't have a license. The frame as well is also identical to the one on the Africa Twin, which is great because that is a great, comfortable bike. Honda did play around with the angles a little bit. So now lower speed maneuvers should be easier than on the Africa Twin. I did test it out at very low speeds and it's very easy to control. I'm not going to complain at all. This is a very well balanced bike, and what more could you wish for? All right, I've got some questions that you guys have sent in, and hopefully these answers will explain a bit more. Can you comment on the wind protection? I see some deflectors, but the windshield looks kind of small. It's not. The windshield is perfect height. It does adjust. If you're riding on the highway, you're going to keep it in this position, but it does adjust manually with 2 hands down. It's about 16 centimeters difference, and if you're riding around in town or it's a hot summer's day, you're going to put it down. These little deflectors here help as well with the wind on your arms. I don't know exactly where this angle will go to, and then you've got other little deflectors over here for wind. I complain about wind because I don't like wind on bikes quite a lot, and this one I don't have a problem with wind protection. Comfort for longer rides, as I said, I've been riding it the whole week, and the max I rode it in one stretch was about 4 hours, and I was absolutely fine. This is an optional comfort seat that Honda has installed on this bike. I couldn't get to test the standard seat, but this one is absolutely fine for me. No need even after an hour to, you know, move your butt from one side to the other to alleviate some of that pain. So if you're looking at this bike, the comfort seat might be a great investment if you're not happy with the standard one. Does it feel like a top-heavy bike? The Africa Twin feels heavy to me when loaded. You don't really feel that you're sitting inside the bike with the NT. You kind of do feel like you're sitting on top of the bike. Some bikes you feel like you're, you know, inside them. But because the suspension is now only 150 millimeters, both on the front and the rear, the bike is a lot closer to the ground. So no, it didn't feel top heavy at all to me. Africa Twin maybe is, but that is a bike that is also meant to go off-road a lot. This one is not, so they were able to get away with 150 millimeters, which, by the way, even on Romania's roads, which are not amazingly maintained, lots of potholes or lots of wavy little bits, suspension did its job properly. It's only preload adjustable at the front and at the rear. There are 43 millimeter Showa forks and a Showa shock as well. I didn't have to change it. I didn't have to modify any setting on the preload. It was just perfect for me the way it was set up for the type of riding that I did, which included city riding, which included back roads and highway riding as well. Fuel consumption. Honda says 5 liters per 100 kilometers. It's a 20-liter tank, so you should be getting about 400 kilometers. I didn't test that because when you ride these bikes, not really looking at fuel consumption. You're trying to find out what the bike can do. You're going to ride it maybe a little bit faster or a little bit harder. So I'm not the perfect person to do a fuel consumption test here. If you have the DCT, how is it in city riding conditions? DCT is actually great for city because you don't have to worry about clutch anymore. You don't have to worry about slow speed maneuvers. The bike will do it for you as long as I said, you don't keep it in drive. I don't know why that drive mode is there. I don't want to be in 6th gear when I'm 50 k's an hour. If you keep it in one of the sport modes, it's great for city riding as well. Headlight performance. Headlight performance is, it could be better.
All right, it's pitch black now, and this is exactly why I like doing these tests at night. You can see exactly what the bike looks like. The first thing that I notice, the little indicators are now, apparently they stay about 50% on all of the time, but that light at night reflects into these winglets over here. So now the bike basically looks like it's got 2 bunny ears that are amber. You might get used to that, you might not. I don't know. I don't like seeing a lot of light from the bike coming into my eyes while I'm riding at night. I want to concentrate on the road ahead. All right, so straight ahead we've got just a low beam now. Let me put the windshield down. Just a low beam. This is with the high beam. So this would be what the bike would be spec'd up as standard, but as I said, this one comes with optional auxiliary lights as well. So let's turn those on. So the difference the auxiliary lights do make is absolutely huge. All right, so this is with the auxiliary lights off. I'm not getting a lot of light here, a lot of usable light. I mean, I can maybe see 50 meters ahead of me, which is really not a lot to let me ride at a reasonable speed at night. If I turn the high beam on, doesn't really do a lot. Okay, it does, but you're not going to be riding with the high beam on all of the time. Press that, press that, press that, go. What? Where is it? Turn on. There we go. Okay, the sides are lit up a lot better now, so I feel a lot more confident to ride faster or at a normal speed at night, which is great. If I turn on the high beam as well, yeah, this is much better now, much better. So if you decide to go for this bike, you really need to go for the auxiliary lights as well. They make a hell of a difference.
The low beam itself doesn't really inspire a lot of confidence, so I have to drive really slowly. The high beam does help a little bit, but you're not going to be riding with the high beam on. What does help are those optional projectors that have been installed on there. So if you are looking at this bike and you do ride at night quite a bit, or you know you're going to be riding at night, those projectors are a great investment. You have to go for them. If you were to choose one bike, what do you think its closest competitor? One bike, Tracer 9 GT probably, because that's around the same price range. That's about 14,000, 14 and a bit here in Romania. But that one definitely doesn't come as well kitted as the NT does. BMW's R1250 RT, that's technically a tourer as well. It's also a 2-cylinder, but there you're looking at about 20,000 for the base version. It obviously comes with a bigger engine, a more powerful engine, better suspension, telelever, paralever, but it's a tourer. F900 XR from BMW, I tested that as well. I just found it too small. It's more like a let's go out and have fun bike than you know, let's go for long trips, you know, long holidays. So yeah, the Tracer 9 GT, I think that would be its closest competitor. Which one would I choose between both of them? The NT, because I tested the GT as well. I like the engine, the Africa Twin engine, a lot more, and I like the sound that comes out of this and the way that I feel on it. All right, let's move on to a little bit of stuff that I didn't like about it. I would put it in the con section. Mirrors, I'm not their greatest fan. For some reason, I can't get them the way I want to. you know, the proper way to actually see behind me. At higher speeds, I find that they vibrate quite a bit, not higher, anything from like 70 k's up. They become a little bit wobbly, and I'm not a fan of that. The panniers, as I said, I would have maybe loved them to be a little bit more high quality. They are a bit finicky to open and close. The inner liners, they've got little straps, and when you try close them, for some reason those straps always stay outside and then you can't close them properly. It's great that we've got CarPlay, but you need to have your phone plugged in, and the moment you do that, you're most probably always going to have some sort of mount on here. So now I'm sitting with CarPlay already installed, and then I've also got my phone. What's the point of using CarPlay if my phone's already in my face? So I would have loved to see a little cubby hole somewhere around here. This is quite a big, you know, mid section of the bike. Some sort of cubby hole where I can just put my phone so I don't have to mount it to the handlebars because I'm using CarPlay. Apart from that, not really a lot that I found to complain with the NT. It's a great tourer. It's not a sporty tourer. It doesn't claim to be, at least I think, but it's just a great tourer for long distances. So if this made you curious, then maybe just go to Honda and try one out. I think that's it for today. If you've got any other questions about this bike, comment section below is the right place for that. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a huge thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.